This podcast is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. To find more great shows on our network, head over to theden.show.
So take a second, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. If you want to hit the notification bell, you go ahead and do that. If not, I'm okay with that. But if you subscribe and hit the thumbs up, that helps us out a lot. If you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a like and leave a review. If you think we suck, tell us we suck, but make it a 5-star you suck. Because that's the only thing that helps. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny!
and Mike. And
It's just us in the man cave.
we don't have our ADA compliant millennial today. We have no millennials here. It's just me and John hanging out deep in the heart of coal country in the man cave.
It's Turkey.
That's slowly getting decorated.
We added a new flag, a couple more beer bottles, cans, I should say.
Can't really see them too well on the camera.
No,
Once-
you can't.
Once we get everything done down here and this door's gone, and we'll have a shelf behind us with all our sundry beer. But I just, before we start, I wanted to tell you about this news story I saw. And this dude, I don't
Guy
know.
you know.
What's that?
This guy you know.
No, it's not a guy I know. I don't know this guy. I don't want to know this guy. He,
But I want to.
I think he broke into a house or something and found dried semen.
Oh.
He thought it was cocaine. And he
Wait a
snorted it.
Wait, I have questions.
And he ended up getting gonorrhea and syphilis.
Oh!
Dried semen. Why are you gagging, my friend?
Oh! Sad I wasn't there. That's fucking nasty.
It's horrible, bro.
Okay,
I don't know any details of the story. I barely
where
read
was
it.
this?
I saw it online, so it's gotta
Probably
be
Pennsylvania.
true. It's gotta be true if it's online.
Either Pennsylvania or Ohio, or maybe Florida. That would be my three guesses. But who keeps?
Maybe it was dried on something.
Did he chop it up or just?
Chopped it up and snorted it.
Oh my god! What an idiot!
Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of details on it because, you know what? I can't hear us.
I can hear you. I can hear me.
How about now?
I can hear you better.
Oh, shit.
Your thing plugged in?
Do that again. Yeah, I can hear you, but barely.
I'll turn the game back up.
I don't think it's the game.
Is Nizzle?
Anyway. So, the Take on the World beer.
Take on the world beer. It's flat as the earth.
Yeah, it was a failure. It was a failure.
It's pretty flat. And it's kind of bitter.
Yeah.
But we keep hoping that the longer we let it sit, one of these is going to taste. It's going to taste all right.
But this is only the second time I use this type of bottle, and I'm thinking maybe I did something wrong.
Yeah, we use these Grolsch bottles, and they have this
The swivel top.
swivel top and a little rubber stopper here. Let me see that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe go fuck yourself.
But this is not the first beer that's failed on me. I've had others. It happens.
I don't know. Whatever that one you made and gave me, you gave me 2 bottles of it. One was flat. I still drank it because it had a good flavor. But the first one I had, I worked a really long night. I let that just chill a little bit, and I got out of the shower, cracked it. Oh my god, was that fucking delicious!
Well, one was a bourbon barrel stout,
Yeah.
and that was actually the one that won Best in Show when I entered it in the contest.
That one, I could see why. That one was on
Now
point.
the other one won first place. That was an Oktoberfest.
I just don't understand like how they had to lose their carbon. Maybe it didn't seal right, or you was going through the process too
Well,
quickly.
those are like 3 years old. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be I didn't seal it right. It could be there wasn't enough priming sugar mixed. Don't know what the problem was. Whatever it was, this batch did not come out. So our next try might be better.
Yeah, I found. Oh, what I saw on what was that thing you invited me to? The dive bar.
Honest Trav's Dive Bar on Facebook.
So they had a picture of pictures of fly fishing shit. Here it is. the Schmoogie. They're from Pennsylvania. They're in Hatfield, Pennsylvania, which is up in Montgomery County.
Yeah, it's down towards Philly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like down towards Jersey.
Yeah, I used to have a friend that lived down in Hatfield.
But it's Caracara orange coconut strawberry. It looks like as thick as a smoothie, but damn, does that look good.
I don't know if I want to drink a thick beer like that.
I don't know. What do you think? Look at the picture. Maybe it's not thick.
I don't. It does look thick. It looks kind of good. It almost looks like an orange Julius.
An orange Julius. Anywho, yeah, but I also joined. Maybe I'll invite you to it. But it was pretty funny. It's called. Oh shit! No, I forget. It's that food that.
Oh shit! I forget.
The food that didn't need to, and then it cuts it off. I didn't take a picture. Well, I thought this looked good. So here's some of the ones on here. It's a crab cake egg rolls. That has like the marmalade sauce that goes on it. I fucking look delicious.
I'd dig that.
Hell yeah.
Anything in an egg roll. When I was in Bradford County, I had chili cheese egg rolls. Cheese dog. Hot dog. Yeah. Oh my God, they were so good. I tried to reproduce them here and I screwed them up.
They also had, I guess, some restaurant in Jersey. It's an Asian restaurant, but they're doing a spin on like Asian American infusion. So they have those dumplings that they steam in the tray. They're like, they just fold them and they're like open on the top.
We have dumplings and we shoot them. Asian American.
But it was a cheeseburger dumpling, and then you dip it in a spicy ketchup sauce.
Okay.
And oh man, did that look fucking good?
A spicy ketchup aioli.
Yeah, pretty much. So
that's what it is when you lean back. I can't hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta find my zone now.
Gotta find the zone.
The zone. It's in between my legs.
Anyway,
what do we got this weekend in the bizarre world of what the fuck we're doing?
With no ladies in the house and no millennials, we can go all out and talk about some freaky shit.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Don't sing ever again. That's what our fans would say. Don't ever sing again. So, we're going to start off with the Night Stalker.
Oh, really? You want to start up? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Let's get the heavy stuff out of the way. Have fun with the second one.
Okay. I'm just going to go right out here and be the first one to say this. Probably not the first one to say this, but what a fucking asshole. I'd like to fucking kill this guy if he wasn't already dead.
He's dead, so we have no problems. Now, this stuff was happening when I was a teenager.
I would have been 2 years old when he...
Okay, I know I'm old. You don't have to keep saying it.
2 years old.
Yeah, so 84, well, we'll get to that, but 85 was his heyday, his prime.
Yep.
Yeah,
how long did this last? Because...
It only lasted a few months. Yeah,
now the one fucking thing I listened to on the way over here, just to like, you know, just so it's fresh in my mind, the guy said it lasted, his killing spree was, he murdered somebody that went on 8 months, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure.
No, there's the first murder, then there was like an 8-month hiatus.
Okay, so then they never mentioned that in the Netflix.
And then it was like, it was boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it was like, I think the longest he ever waited was like a month. Or there was like 4 months, and then he could wait maybe like a month or 20 days.
Well, sometimes there's two sets of murders or 2 sets of attacks, and like, not everybody that he attacked was murdered.
Right.
But
all right, well,
let's get into it.
Let's back it up here.
Yeah, back it up.
We kind of got ahead of ourselves. So we're talking about the infamous Night Stalker, a.k.a. Richard Ramirez.
Or as we like to call him, Little Dicky.
Little Dick.
We like to call him Little Dick.
So we're just going to refer to him as Little Dick. So, all right.
He was 10 years older than me.
Yeah. Now, apparently, he had a really fucked up childhood.
Yeah, there was two schools of thought on that because the one documentary I said, they said that his father was abusive. Another one said there was no evidence of his father being abusive.
Really?
So it's just like everything else. That the information juxtaposes itself.
Yeah, I know he was born in, what was it, Mexico?
Yeah.
I guess he was fucking
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas. Oh, I think he went back to visit his brother in New Mexico at some point in time. Anyway,
His cousin.
He was born in El Paso, Texas. I think they said he was dirt poor.
But his parents were immigrants.
Yeah.
And they came here with nothing and had to build themselves up. And they didn't know English. They had to learn English.
Right. I assume that's pretty common back then.
His father worked on a railroad line.
Yeah.
And his mom worked in a boot factory.
So they're hardworking,
They both work in transportation.
And they work for PennDOT. And they said, I'm going to fast forward here a little bit, but you want to know this fucked up childhood and how influential kids can be is his cousin.
Yeah.
Was it his cousin or his uncle?
His cousin.
His cousin was served in Vietnam and was an Army Green Beret. And he came back and he would show him pictures of, torture victims, how he, kill and torture people over there.
And tell him stories about how he was raping and mutilating women.
Yeah. And I guess this had a profane effect on him. And he would, look at the Polaroids and shit. It must have done something to him and sparked something in his head.
Now, when I watched one of my documentaries, they had a psychologist on it saying how because he was in his formative pubescent years, that being exposed to these things embedded themselves in his psyche.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt in my mind. I would back that up 100%.
Well, the evidence backs it up. So
yeah. So, I mean, and then he was the icing on the cake was, I guess they were, and him and his cousin would get together, look at these pictures, he would tell them stories, and they would get high together. They just referred to him smoking weed. I don't know if they used other drugs.
Probably. At that time, he was only smoking weed.
So, how did it say how old he was? Like 15, 16?
When his cousin died?
No.
Oh, 13. He was 13 years old.
So he's 13, going over to his cousin's house, getting showed, these pretty graphic photos, hearing these, stories, smoking weed with him. And, the cousin's wife comes in, I guess starts giving him a rash of shit, the husband, and he pulls a gun out on her and shoots her in the face and kills her. Right in front of Richard, blood splattered all over him. 13 years old.
13 years old, little Dickie witnesses a murder.
Little Dick witnesses a murder. And they did say they weren't sure if he had killed before that or that kind of like sparked his interest in like getting off on it or, whatever is going on in his mind. So if he wasn't already killing by then, I'm sure this fucking put the last nail in the coffin.
Well, in ninth grade, he dropped out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1977, so he was 17 years old. He was born in 1960. Mm-hmm. He was 17 years old. He was arrested for the first time for marijuana possession.
Right.
And then he went in and out of.
He never had anything like violent. It was always just like petty theft or like carjacking, but nothing major, nothing.
But being 17 and then in jail, you think that's got to have an effect on someone too?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you meet some special scumbags in there. But so
he had two more arrests for auto theft in 81 and 84.
Okay. And the description of this guy, they said he had horrible teeth, just jacked up.
They were
looked like Gollum, and probably smelled just as bad as him too.
But they said that his personal hygiene was atrocious,
non-existent. And they said he lived off of like convenience store food, like
But see,
sugary shit.
now, all that stuff happened after he moved to California, because that's what you graduate to when you move to California. You graduate to cocaine, which you did. You graduate
heroin,
to heroin and auto theft.
Yeah.
And you become the stinky guy in jail.
So he's living in some squalor. He's probably, 18, 20 years old? When does he commit his first murder?
24.
24.
Well, okay, the first murder in this series, he was 24, but as we'll get to later, there was a murder before that he was not linked to until much
right.
later.
And I didn't even know about this one. That's why I thought the thing that I listened to on the way over here was the guy was just making it up. But there was a lot of discrepancies in between that one that I listened to and the Netflix documentary. Now, I mean, I'm sure they left a lot of shit out in the Netflix documentary, but there was a lot of shit that I haven't heard before that were left out in some other one, which when we get there, we'll start talking about. We see if you. I don't see them in your notes here, so I'm assuming they left them out, which I find is very fucking interesting. So, at some point in time on his move from El Paso to California, he becomes some, drug craze. Oh, and he was satanic, and he liked. I don't know, I don't even want to say, well, he likes satanic music, like AC/DC, and I don't really think AC/DC is satanic. But you remember that era back then where they thought that, listening to Metallica was causing kids to kill people, and like the Columbine shootings.
If you listen to Iron Maiden, you're a Satanist.
Right, yeah, your kids. They tried to ban it, didn't they?
Yes.
Who was the first, metal band that I think they did get banned, or they wouldn't let their songs on the radio?
Me and Nathan just talked about this. Dee Snider testified before Congress when they were trying to ban stuff.
Yes.
But that was a little bit later than this.
Right, yeah. So, in some way, this stinky bastard, Little Dick, starts deciding he wants to go killing. And now I believe he was looking for sexual gratification out of these killings. So which kind of leaves me to believe maybe his cousin was showing him pictures of, a lot of sexual...
More than likely.
Stuff like that kind of excited him. And he wanted more of that, so he associated, death with sex. And there's an actual term for that. I forget what it was. I never looked it up when I researched this years ago. So, his first victim was...
Jenny Vincow, 79 years old. So he was a real trooper and took on a strong victim.
Yeah.
An 80-year-old woman.
And at first they didn't call him the Night Stalker. He was like the walk-in rapist.
There was a couple.
Yeah.
The newspaper sat down, and I had this in the end of my notes. The newspaper sat down and
but basically they called him the Night Stalker because he would...
The screen door killer, the walk-in killer, the Valley Intruder, the screen door intruder, the Herald Examiner, and this is why I hate the media.
Yeah,
they labeled this guy with this glorified label.
Yeah,
and even later on, and towards the end of his murders, he's telling his victims, the ones he leaves alive, tell him the Night Stalker was here.
Yeah.
So he's embracing what the media's dishing out.
Yep.
And it's just why I hate the media, I hate the press.
They not vilify him, but what's the opposite? Anyhow, anybody smarter than me can figure that out. But they gave him these names because his MO was to prowl around at night and either enter your house through an unlocked door or mostly unlocked windows. And he would creep in your house. Some of the victims he waited for, some he was surprised with a flashlight. And, if there was a male there, he would take the male out first. So he had nobody, I want to say competition, but he didn't have...
He could get overpowered.
Yeah, he can get overpowered.
And most of the men were shot in their sleep.
Yep.
So they didn't even know what was coming.
He's a fucking coward, and he crawls into your freaking house at night and shoots your loved one, ties the woman up, rapes her. The one they said he cut her eyeballs out, and he took the eyeballs with him.
Yes.
And that was the first I ever heard of that. I mean, that's a sick pup right there, man. That is, I don't know what ugh, I can't even think about doing that. And he robbed the house and was gone. And the only thing he left behind was that stupid footprint.
Now the footprint, they didn't say anything about the footprint being left behind except the 2 crime scenes. Now you said it was a common thing.
Now, when I was watching the Netflix documentary, it's called Night Stalker. It's like 6 episodes, I think. And you should watch it. It's really good. And it follows both detectives that were on the case of his killing. And so I want to say they centered, like, the footprint was a big deal. Like, the first detective, I can't remember his name. I think it was Gil something.
Yeah, I was watching the documentary that I was watching. He must have said his name like 10 times.
Yeah, it was Gil. I can't remember his last name. And but he was kind of like new. Well, no, he was new. He was like, I think, 20-something-year-old detective, fresh off the force. He was on the force for like 9 years, and he's the one who's like, I think this is the same guy. And at one point, they really fucked up because he left the shoe print, and he started noticing, like, hey, this is like a size 11 to 12 shoe. It's a big guy. It's a tall guy. And, it's the same tread. And nobody believed them. They're like, whatever. It's just, And
he had said that he saw a connection between the murders, but the FBI told me it was crazy.
Right,
there was no connection.
Or actually, the old-time homicide detectives thought he was crazy.
Because the MO, the MO was all over the place with this guy.
He was trying to link the fact that, now here, I'll bring this up and tell me if you heard this. They said there was a rash of like 15 to 20 something child rapes that Detective Gill, can't remember his last name, linked him to. And he brought that to the attention to the older detectives, and they're like, this guy's he's just a young buck trying to make a name for himself.
You're seeing something that's not there.
Yeah. And, but it was, like, it was the same shoe print was found at those scenes. And they interviewed a woman. She was 6 years old. He opened up her window, kidnapped her, took her back to his place, raped her for like 2 days, and then dropped her off at a gas station and said, go in there and call the police. Tell him. I think he might have mentioned his name, the Night Stalker. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. He said, tell him to call the police and look for your parents.
When I was researching this, his reign of terror started when he was about 24 years old. 23 if you add the victim that they finally found years later with DNA matching. And they were all old. But I looked at it and I'm like, there's no way this guy was dormant all that time that he didn't do anything.
Right.
Like, he might not have murdered before he was 24, but he
was doing something.
He was doing something.
Yeah, you find that common in a lot of, like, murder cases. Like, what are they doing in between here and here? They're not holding down, like, a steady job, or maybe they are, and they're just, like, they can't overcome the urges, and they go back out. I don't know. It's weird. It's fascinating. But
I just want to jump on the first murder for a second.
Okay.
Because I don't want to glorify this asshole, but I do want to honor these victims. Jenny, where is she? Jenny was stabbed, murdered, and her throat was cut. Like, there's a good amount of brutality to that. And usually a stabbing is someone you know, stabs you. And he didn't know any of these victims and he stabbed most of them, but if a detective comes across a crime scene and it's stabbing, the first people they look at is close friends and family, because it's crime of passion, because it's up close and personal. So whatever was going through his head, it gave him a personal connection to them, even if they didn't actually have it.
Right. Well, they said that the detective, goddamn, can you look up his last name? It's going to piss me. Gail Rodriguez?
No, it was.
So, fuck, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, that's what he said. Homicide Detective Gail Winters.
No.
Gale Force wins.
Gale Force wins.
Gale Force wins coming into town again.
Because our internet is so good here.
Gale.
Gale Carrillo.
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 Okay.
Carrillo.
So Detective Gale Carrillo. Johnny on the spot.
McGilla Carrillo.
He said that, I thought the first murder was number 2, Maria Hernandez, and, yes, was it Dale?
Yeah, it was Dale.
But it's a woman.
Yes.
It's not a man.
It's Dayle, Dale.
So, he goes into that, they were living together in an apartment, or home, and the Night Stalker crept in there.
Well, hold on. After Jenny, and he burglarized that house, which he did at almost every one of the homes.
Yeah.
It was nearly 9 months.
Right, okay.
Between March and August of 1985. So, 85 was his year.
Right. What he was doing in those 9 months, who fucking knows? He could have been somewhere else.
It's possible.
Who knows? I think between those 8 and 9 months, he was abducting those kids and raping them.
Maybe he was in jail.
Because there was like 14, I think, or 18 kidnappings where the guy's MO was he would break into the house, slip in through an open window, kidnap the kid. They would disappear for a couple of days, and then they were dropped back off somewhere.
That breaks from his MO like completely.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, because he didn't abduct anybody except for
but in one of his last murder cases, they had everything there. They had the killing. They had the drawing of a pentagram. They had the rape of an 8-year-old. He basically went in there, killed the whole family, raped the kid. I think he killed the kid as well. But basically everything that he was trying to link to these cases was all in this one case. So there's no doubt that he sodomized, like, and these murders that you have here listed of the 28 here, he sodomized, I think, like 3.
But it's weird.
3 kids in there.
In these?
Yeah.
They don't say that, though.
I know. I never heard that either.
Like,
but that was straight from the detective's mouth. Like, he tried to link those. He's like, I think he's also a child rapist. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. It doesn't make sense. It's not his MO.
If 3 of these murders had a child in the house when it happened. One of the children was 3 years old. One was 12.
Yeah. And I don't think he raped all the kids. Did
he didn't do any of that. They didn't say anything about them raping me anyway.
Yeah, he did.
He tied him up. But the research,
the one with the 8-year-old kid, he sodomized the 8-year-old kid, and I think he left him alone. I think the wife survived and the kid survived, but the dad didn't.
Yeah, I think that's towards the end here.
And they had, I forget her name. She was like the one I told you. She was 6 years old. He took her to her house, raped her, and then dropped her back off at a gas station and said, "Have them call the police." But she picked him up out of a lineup. Like, what was it, 89, I think? And she said, that's him. I will never forget his face. That's him. And, so, I mean, yeah, he's weird. It's like he's doing a lot of fucked up shit, but he was on a lot of drugs.
He was on a lot of drugs, and he didn't always use the same weapon, which was,
no.
Like, the MO was, he used 2 different guns in the total of the murders.
Yeah.
It was the same 2 guns throughout all the shootings.
22.
A 22 and a 25.
Both handguns.
Small pistols, easy to conceal.
Yeah.
And he used a tire iron, he used a machete, he used a knife, he used a kitchen knife.
So, we'll say, I guess his first murders in 85 were Maria Hernandez and Dale Okazaki. Now, this is how they laid it out in the Netflix documentary was, I'm just going to keep referring to that because that's the only one I really watched. I watched ones prior to that, but I don't remember them. And they said that he waited in the house, and Dale Okazaki came home with her grocery bags in her hand, and she felt the presence in the house. And they said he was hiding behind the dining room, or no, I'm sorry, the kitchen table, like attached to your sink. I guess it would kind of maybe be an island or something, where bar stools. So he's hiding behind that, and I guess she ducked down or something and was like terrified. And they said she had her hands on the table like this, and he was popped up, and he could see her hands, so he knew that she was going to pop up behind the table to look. And he said he just sat there with a gun like this and waited to pop her head up, and he shot her right in the forehead.
Yeah.
And then, as I guess he waited in the house, and then Maria Hernandez showed up, pulls into the garage, and she's going to walk into the back door, and she said that he tapped on the top of the car to get her attention.
Yeah.
And she turned around, and there was a gun in her face, and he shot, but she had her keys in her hands, and the bullet deflected off the keys. She fell down, played dead, and then I guess he went back in the house, and then she took off, and I guess, or maybe she took off, and he shot at her again. It was very kind of like cloudy.
Yeah, the research I saw just said that she managed to escape. Yeah,
she did, and what had happened was she ran around to the front of the house thinking that the killer's not going to come out the front of the house. He's going to go around back, sneaky, but no. As soon as she went to go in the front of the house, he opens the door, and there he is. And he's got a gun pointed at her again. And she's like, "You really have to kill me? You already shot me once." He said he just looked at her, and he just put the gun back in his waist belt and just walked away. Didn't even run, he just walked away.
Yeah.
And so he's pretty arrogant. He feels pretty comfortable in what he's doing. But my point was the detective Gail. Fuck, that's the. I got all these names mixed up now. Yeah, you retarded. The Carrillo? Detective Carrillo?
Gil?
Carrillo pad?
Yeah.
He said that what he thought, because he's trying to get into his psyche, and he's like, he is the type of guy that wants to see the fear in your eyes. That's what he gets off on. He gets off on seeing, like, knowing that you're going to die. He wants to see that look in your face before he kills you. Yeah. And then it started growing into, like, I guess that wasn't doing it for him, so he had to have the sex, part added to it. And then he started getting, well, not that wasn't gruesome.
No, he raped the first one.
Yeah, true. I don't, it's weird. I don't know.
But then they don't say another rape until, like down to the 8th attack.
Yeah. I think that same night, I think there was 3 murders in the same night. So you had, after he walked away from Maria Hernandez, as she said, don't you have to shoot me again? You already shot me. He, I guess, stole a vehicle, and then I don't know how.
Hold on, go back to Maria for a second. I had a little more information.
Okay.
I have Ramirez followed her 12 miles from downtown from downtown LA.
More than 12 miles, Michael.
And watched her pull into the garage.
See, now,
of a condo.
I don't understand that, because the one that I saw made it sound like,
and he ducked under the garage door to get in.
They made it sound like Okazaki was the first one that he killed, and then the thing that I listened to on the way over here was backwards. It said that he shot Maria Hernandez, surprised her in the garage.
That's what this says.
She fell down, played dead. He goes inside the house and then fucking kills her roommate.
And it says that she held up her keys, and that's...
Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense now. Okay.
She after she got shot, she played dead on the ground.
Yeah.
And then he went in, and...
now, if he was using like a 9mm, them keys, I don't think she would have probably been dead.
You never know. But a 22
long rifle, for all you cool cats and kittens. That's obviously deadly round, but it's a very small... very small.
But yeah, Osaki presumably hearing the gunshot, ducked behind the kitchen counter, but not before Ramirez had seen her.
That makes way more sense now.
So he just stood there waiting, and eventually she peered over top of the counter, and he shot her in the head, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
But just flip-flop. So he attacked her in the garage first.
And
then, not satisfied with this, he also shot and killed.
Yeah, he somehow got this girl, chased her down the road, and like pulled in front of her.
Yeah, forced the car off the road.
Yeah, and then basically shot her. Was it in the car? Or got her out of the car and shot her. She survived but died in the hospital.
Right. Yeah. And that's where the media dubbed him the Valley Intruder.
Yeah.
But they had that brainstorming session that came up with the screen door killer, the walk-in killer.
I don't know how they linked
they said it was
him to that, though.
It was a particularly hot summer in L.A. that year.
Yeah, they said it was like 115 degrees.
And they said after these stories started breaking, everybody was locking their doors, and people were dying from heat exhaustion in their homes because they didn't want to open the doors. I guess back then air conditioning wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
So, I mean, we can go down this list. I don't know if you want to.
Well, I have some of them written out here too, because I got more detail on some of the murders.
Okay.
So as you go down, I might stop you and jump over here.
I'm just gonna mention them because they're human beings, and
Well, I have something on the next one. So
where are we at? Number 4.
Yeah.
Tsai Lien Yu.
That was the the girl in the vehicle.
We just talked about that. Okay, so this is his 5th victim. So we think it's pretty accurate as far as what the news, media, and police were saying. So number 5 would be 64-year-old Vincent Zazara, shot while sleeping and killed.
Yep.
And then 44-year-old Maxine Zazara, husband and wife, shot and stabbed and killed, and her eyes were gouged out.
This is the first one where they saw that he took
the body.
a trophy.
Yeah. Did he ransack I think he ransacked the shit out of the fucking house.
Yes. This was 10 days after the last 3 murders.
Yeah.
Or the last 3 attacks.
I don't know if you wrote it down on one of these, but I know one of them when he had ripped. They found a footprint, that same stupid fucking Avia trainer shoe footprint on the time clock, on their alarm clock. But what he did was he beat the shit out of the wife, blood all over the place, and he steps on the alarm clock and he rips the cord out.
Yeah,
and he uses that cord to tie up the victim and kill her.
Well, later on, he took a cord off of something and was electrocuting the victim, too.
Really? I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. That's down with I think, where the husband and wife and the 3-year-old kid.
Yeah, he also, I don't know where this fits into here, but...
This murder here, just to stop you for a second, sorry. This is where this pattern started. This is where they said that
shoot the
husband
man
while he's sleeping,
yep,
and then brutalize the wife.
Yep, and then ransack the house.
Yeah.
Now, he was also jerking off all over the freaking crime scenes and shit.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, the coup de grace.
I mean, no one's around to see you.
A la mode, baby. And, so, he,
murder a la mode. You're a sick fuck, dude.
So.
Dude, that's horrible.
I didn't do it. No, he's the one who did it, not me. So, I don't know.
That's how you end up with dry semen in the house, and then you snort it up and get syphilis.
You get syphilis. So I don't know where this fits into here, but I know they said that, I don't know if you want to call them, they labeled them as victims of the Night Stalker. But what had happened, it was a husband and wife, and the husband was a sheriff's deputy at this time. And the wife was sleeping on the couch, husband was in the bedroom, and she got woken up to a loud bang. And she thought it was her husband. She's like, oh my God. She's like, John. She's like, and she said, she remembers, I woke up and I was pissed off because it was loud and you're going to wake the kid or whoever was in the house. It irritated me. So I got up and I had an attitude. I'm like, you're being all loud, this and that and this and that. And then she says she felt like this ominous presence. Like it wasn't John, my husband. It was something else. So she woke him up and he grabs his gun and he clears the house. And then they go into the bedroom and the window's wide open. Never used this bedroom. Holy shit, the window's wide open. Somebody tried to come in. Clears the house, looks out, and he sees 2 footprints in the dirt. And they said what he did was, she said, we just watered all the plants and everything because it was so fucking hot outside. So he goes to open the window. She goes, it was actually, we had painted it shut. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to open a window that was painted shut. It's almost goddamn impossible. Yeah. So he probably had a crowbar or something with him, some kind of implement. But they said that he pushed so hard that, like, he bent down and, like, put all of his weight into it, and that's what sunk his feet in there.
Well, it wouldn't have been this one, because this one was in March.
Size 11 to 12, Avias. Oh, he also wore a members only jacket from the Maria Hernandez.
Yeah, but who didn't back then?
You're right. I think my stepdad had one. But he was all dressed in black, and he was... You know what? Let me back up here.
At this point, with up until that murder, it says the police investigation yielded nothing.
Right, yeah, they had nothing on him other than these fucking shoe prints. And they said that the one murder they fucked up, it wasn't almost linked to them because the detective on the case said he was wearing a size 10 wing walker dress shoe, and there was footprints.
A wing walker like Zodiac?
Yeah, no, that was a wing walker. I'm thinking like a pointed boot, like a cockroach killer or something, like a square pointy toes. They called it a wing walker.
A wingtip.
A wingtip. My bad.
You got Zodiac on the brain.
I do. So they said the detective saw the footprint. He put his foot up to it and was like, "No, it's a size 10. It's somebody else," because he wore a size 10. And then Gail Carrillo, he says he measured it with a 1-to-1 ratio measuring stick, and he calls the detective and he goes, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They're not the same." He's like, "I measured this with a 1-to-1 ruling stick, and it's a size 11 to 12. And he's like, "Right then and there, it's when he knew that he fucked up." So the detective's like, "Oh shit. Yeah, like I fucked that one up." And so then that one got linked to him.
So the next murder after that was May 14th. So he went from March 27th to May 14th.
Yeah. I think this whole thing in from number 2, minus that 8-month hiatus that he was on. Hiya, oh no, courage, no light Stalker. That it was about 180 days, give or take, between then and when he got fucking
jammed up.
All right, so we did the Cesaras.
Next to the Doys.
Obviously she was killed. 7, William Doy, mid-60s, shot in the head while she was in bed. I assume asleep. Or him. When I say he, her. And Lily, I don't remember these ones. Lily Doy, mid-60s, sexually assaulted, beaten, and raped. She survived.
Yes.
So, same MO. Kill the male, violate the female, ransack the house, out you go. Number 10.
May 29th, 1985.
Which was?
Mabel, Bell, and Carol.
May 29th, 1985?
I'm sorry.
Mabel Maybell, 83,
and
died
Florence.
Beaten with a hammer, shocked with an electrical cord, occult markings, and he drew a pentagram and lipstick on the outside of her left thigh, and then he drew a pentagram over the headboard on the bed.
Yeah, I think this is where his footprint was, because this one specifically said the footprint was found in a bedroom. I think this is the one with the alarm clock.
Yeah, it was. There was a bloody footprint. Yes, either that, and there was another one where he left a bloody footprint on the bedding. And
Florence Lang was found comatose.
Was that the invalid?
They were both found comatose. One of them died.
Yeah, the sister was invalid.
Yes.
So
81 years old and 83 years old.
I mean, what a guy. What a nice guy. And he's just preying upon, helpless victims.
Now, the next one is the very next night. It's May 30th.
So that is what? Mary Louise Cannon?
No. Carol Kyle.
Where the what?
Right under Lily Doyle. Doy.
Florence Nettie Lang?
Oh, it was actually...
Yeah, you're...
they're out of order here.
You're out of order!
No, you're out of order. You can't handle the truth. Let's see. Mabel and Nettie were before Carol and her son.
Okay.
Carol was 42.
So
Carol was raped, but not killed. And her son was bound. 11-year-old son was bound. Now, it doesn't say anything about sexual assault in the son.
You got to watch that documentary because pretty much they said that any of the believe any of the child that were in the home was sodomized.
But in what the research, the place that I was looking, they didn't even mention kids' names or age. I had to look for their ages.
Yeah. Well, this might even be newer information. I don't know.
But they had to know right away that the kids.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not let out till now. I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
But that's straight out of the detective's mouth. So why they would be lying about that? What the fuck?
What the hell?
It's been that long, has it? Yeah, yeah. You got to piss it in here? Gotta go all the way upstairs?
Well, like sometimes when I'm down here. So you can tell Katie it's not just a ghost in her house. Hang on. Wait. Don't start.
Shit back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Back to the 9th inning, everybody.
What?
So we got 9, 10, and 11 mixed up. So Carol Kyle would actually be the 12th victim.
Well, if you go down in your
I
notes,
ain't going down on you.
okay, I accept that. I have the dates and everything with the murders, so I'll just keep reading from that. You keep reading from that list.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like anybody's going to remember this. Just so Carol Kyle, 42, killed, and her 11-year-old son was bound. I also read that he was raped as well. And then
That's pretty good.
Mary Louise Cannon, beaten unconscious with a lamp, then stabbed with a kitchen knife, found dead.
Yeah, and that was he was dark from May to July. There was no known crimes.
So a 3-month span.
Yeah,
God knows what he's doing. Sucking dick for cocaine, probably. Because he has a little dick.
Or hey Ron.
Or hey Ron, yep.
Now this next one is weird.
Yeah, Whitney Bennett.
Now this is 3 days later from the last attack. It's July 5th.
16 years old, beaten with a tire iron. She survived with 478 stitches.
In her head.
In her head. Yeah.
Someone said it was 4 feet of sutures.
Right, yeah. Yeah, she was... They showed a picture of her with the head dressing on in the hospital.
Now, I looked this one up separate from the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because it struck me that she's 16. As compared to most of these other victims are 40,
he's all
50,
over the
60,
map.
80.
In that regards, he's all over. It's like almost he doesn't give a shit who's in the house. He's going to do it whatever the fuck he wants.
So he attacked her while she was sleeping, attempted to use a phone cord to strangle her, but he saw sparks coming out of the cord. And he thought that meant Jesus.
That's an OSHA violation, no!
Yeah, that's not funny. He thought that meant Jesus was trying to save her, so he stopped his attack and ran.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's go back to the OSHA violation. This is not a funny joke, ha-ha thing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
When someone gets electrocuted, it's not funny. When you brush against open wires.
There's no open wires up there. I think every gang box has 600 wires hanging out of it with none of them have fucking wire nuts on them.
Okay.
So, yeah, the picture of her, Whitney Bennett, man, she looked just horrendous. Her eyes were swollen shut like she just beaten the absolute shit out of her.
Well, I know how stitches like that make someone look. I alluded to this before, but a long time ago, I used to work at an ice cream. Like I was a kid. It was a part-time job. I just go when they needed help. But I worked in this ice cream warehouse, and we used to have to unload these trucks, and they'd use like a metal ramp that went from the loading dock to the. It wasn't one of the ones like we have now. It was like one of the ones they used to have. You just throw the plate down and you.
Yeah.
So you're pulling these big racks of ice cream off these trucks, and the racks themselves are heavy as hell. And you load them down with ice cream, and it's horrible. Well, the one guy we used to call Michelin Man because he was built the way I'm built now. People get the Michelin Man. So he was pulling this rack, and he hit the edge. It pushed the metal plate down, and the whole rack of ice cream came down on him, crushed him. But he was wearing glasses. The glasses were embedded into his face. The ambulance came, the firefighters. He was fucked up bad.
There you are, sitting there eating a pint of ice cream.
And I was eating nutty buddy watching.
That was painful.
The rule was if the box is damaged, they don't sell it. so all those boxes were damaged. And if there's Nutty Buddies in them, I'm getting them. I'm fucking I'm eating them. So anyway, I put my Nutty Buddy down to try to help him, and I can't. So I just picked it back up and started eating it. Well, the ambulance comes, takes him away. He comes back, and he looked like, we called him Frankenstein after that. Because he had, like, all around, like, it was just like stitches. Wow. And I can only imagine what this girl is going through. Like, he was a big dude. If he had been any smaller, it would have killed him. He was lucky he was a big dude.
Yeah, I never knew that with the lamp and then the sparks and...
Yeah, he tore the phone cord off, and he said he saw sparks coming out of it, and he thought Jesus was coming to save her, so he ran. Because that's what a good Satanist does.
Yeah. And as far as, like, how much he was into Satanism and what he was doing with that, they don't ever touch on. I know the only thing I heard about it was when he was married to his first wife, that she bought a gold ring and she bought him a platinum ring because apparently Satanists don't wear gold or aren't allowed to wear gold rings.
Okay.
I guess you got to draw the line somewhere, people. Let's be honest.
I'll praise Satan, but I ain't wearing no gold.
Ring here, no way, no how, sir.
You get me some platinum.
I'll be the woman with a lamp. To death with a goddamn gold ring. Get the hell away from me.
Some lines of man just don't cross.
Putting on the gold ring, boss. Well, so okay, here we're gonna go. You're gonna go down the list. Just keep going here,
okay.
And if you have something, just mention it.
After the 5th, it goes to the July 7th.
All right. So victim number 14, Joyce Louise Nelson, age 61. 15, Sophie Dickman. 16th victim, Maxine Needing.
Well, hang on. Little Dick raped Sophie, held her at gunpoint. Joyce Nelson was 61 and was beaten at her home, but doesn't say either one of them died.
Yeah, I know they had also said that 2 of these he couldn't get an erection, and then he got really upset with the person, and then he kept telling the woman that, she's like, she was praying to God or something like that. He's like, don't pray to God, pray to Satan. And he's like, tell me how much you love Satan. She's just, appeasing him.
Well, there's several of them as we get towards the end here.
Yeah.
That he makes praise Satan.
Yeah.
Swear to Satan that there's no more jewelry or money in the house.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was the one. Maybe I'm a little bit early on that, but the one lady, she's like, oh, there's a little bit of money in this drawer my husband had, and it was something like $200 or whatever it was. And he like counts and he's like, this is what your life's worth, bitch. He's like, you're lucky I found this. He's like, or I'd kill you. Oh, I mean, but I won't wear a gold ring. Just I ain't wearing no gold.
Okay, so
number 18.
This is Needling, Max.
Yep. Oh no, I missed her. Oh, so this must have been husband and
Leah.
And Leela Needling.
That was July 20th.
Oh, is that the truck driver guy?
I don't know.
So I'm assuming it was, because if we go here, there's not. Yeah, that's got to be them.
Yeah, after I printed this out, I added more information to this.
Or either it's Chris Peterson or Virginia Peterson. They sound like truckers. But so he breaks into these people's houses and.
Well, hold on, don't jump ahead, because you got 4 murders between them.
Well, if this, I want to know if the Max and Needling and Leela were the ones that survived.
Well, let me look. I'm pretty sure they survived. I can look at the victims here.
So I'll just pause here because there's an important fact here. I don't want to get them screwed up.
Needling's residence was in Sun Valley. It was 4:15 a.m. He broke into the home. Hang on. This one was backwards. It was backwards on the website.
So they should be further down the line?
They
should be with
the cough code revolution.
Chanarong
Kovaneth. They were killed first.
Okay.
And that's the one. Some kid is the one. He made her swear to Satan that they weren't hiding any money from him. And it was the 20th. He purchased a machete, and then the Toyota, and he chose the home of Leah Needling, 66, and her husband Maxon, 68. He burst into the sleeping couple's bedroom, hacked them with a machete, then killed them with shots to the head from a .22 caliber handgun.
Yeah,
Then he mutilated their bodies.
I think he said they damn near decapitated the male. And from what the Netflix documentary, if I haven't mentioned that before, that I watched last night, was I think their grandkid came to the house and was like, "Grandma, there's a creepy guy. He's stalking the neighborhood. You should lock your doors at night." And they literally said, "We're from the Midwest. We don't believe in that. We don't want to be scared, and we don't want to live like that and be in fear all the time. We'll be all right." And I think it was like the very next night they were murdered by this guy.
This Kovaneth, there was also an 8-year-old son.
Yeah,
who was bound. He said he was bound and terrified, and he drugged some kid around the house to find all the valuables.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, people out there, if you're listening to this, you're interested, obviously find as much info as you can, but I would suggest watching the Netflix, because I do believe they share a lot of shit that's not really known, like when you research this.
Well, when I found this website, this fandom website,
yeah,
I found that there's a lot of information on here that I hadn't had before.
Now, I remember years ago when I was looking at this, just because, I was interested in true crime, I want to say that he would put plates, like dishes, on the male's backs, and then when he's raping the woman, he's like, if I hear the dishes crash, I'll know that you're trying to get untied. And I swear to God, now I haven't read that anywhere else since, but maybe I got that mixed up with another one, the Golden State Killer, because that's what he did. But I mean, his MO was just come in and kill the male right away. So I might have that mixed up, or maybe whatever I was reading 10 years ago was wrong. I don't know. So,
see, because the other research I had Needlings dying before Chanarong, and some kid, but that specifically states that they died first.
Yeah. Well, now at some point he changes his weapon to a 25 auto.
From now on, after this murder, it's 25.
So his first attempted murder must have been Chris Peterson and Virginia Peterson. He breaks into the house, shoots Chris in the head, but I think it like enters his face and like comes out his neck, and it missed all the vital organs.
And the other one he shot in the face.
He shot the wife in the face, didn't kill her. The husband gets up and actually chases him out of the house, and he runs away like a scared little bitch.
Now, that was in August. So from July 20th till August 6th, he was dark again.
Yeah, which is, I would love to know what he was doing in there.
Maybe it's where these abducted kids come in.
Yeah. So, they had found that, and when he's using these shells for the 25 auto, I'm assuming it's a semi-automatic weapon. Every time you pull the trigger, fires off a round, ejects the old casing out, cycles a new round. So they found the shell casings, and they had on the primer, which is the ignition source, was a red paint. And they do that sometimes to seal it because there's a little explosive in there. If it gets wet, and your primer won't ignite the powder. So there was a red primer paint on there, and when they looked at it, they said, they don't make this kind of round anymore. They don't put that in there. This is a really old round. And so it's going to be specific. Not probably one person's going to have that, like a box or two of them. So they knew it was.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't know. I do. You can trace.
I've got ammo here that was my father-in-law. He's been dead for over 10 years.
So what are you trying to say? You want to go commit
No, nothing like that.
Slew of murders and see if we can get away with it?
There's people, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, that stockpile ammunition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I
mean, back then it might not have been as common.
I mean, a 25 auto is not everybody. I don't think that's a.
I got a 25. I got a 32.
Is that? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Well, anyways, that's what they had said. And
so now we're going to make the kids cry on the next one.
Where are we at? Sakina Abawath?
So that was. 2 days later.
Sakina Abawath raped.
Yeah.
Elias Abawath shot and killed.
Yeah.
So he's still doing the same thing.
10 days later, on the 18th.
Peter Pan.
Hold on. He left L.A., the L.A. area.
Oh, this is
went
up
to
in
San Francisco.
He went to San Francisco. And he killed Peter Pan. Peter fucking Pan.
Sorry, kid. I didn't want to break it to him that Peter Pan was dead that way, but you did.
Yeah. No more peanut butter for you.
Peter and Barbara Pan. Barbara was raped.
He was killed, but Peter Pan didn't die right away. He actually called 911.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to relay what happened, but they traced a phone call and sent a squad car and ambulance out to the house.
And it was after these two murders that, because of the MO and the satanic symbolism, they no longer used the moniker Valley Intruder. And
he became the infamous
Night Stalker. Because he broke into most of their houses that night.
And I guess, let's see, are these two on the same night? Last two here.
The 24th of August.
Bill Carnes?
Yes. He was shot, but he survived.
And
his fiancée, Inix
Erickson.
He was raped, but survived. And they got so much evidence from this. When the police got there, she gave a very detailed description of the attacker. Yeah. She gave a detailed description of the vehicle he fled in.
Everybody said he was just greasy. He smelled awful.
Little Dick fucked up on this one.
His breath was just, his halitosis was off the charts. And he's just like hovering over you all close to you, breathing in you.
So they released the info on the car. The car was found. They pulled his fingerprints from the car. They pulled up his criminal record.
Let me. Well, a little more interesting than that. They impounded the car, and it was written on the window, "Hold for prints." And actually, we need to back up a little bit here because they throughout this whole case, they didn't fuck up, but there was a lot of like weird twists that they could have got him earlier. So during the beginning, and I don't know into what murders he was into. I want to say maybe like his 8th or 9th. They gave a description of, this guy's teeth are just fucking nasty. And they had found in one of the stolen cars a card for a dentist in Chinatown, and it gave the name Richard Nunez. So he used a false name and a phony address. So they went to that dentist, and they pulled up like these dental records, and like, this is that guy. And like, his teeth are pretty fucked up. I wonder if it's him. So they set up undercover agents in there for, I think, like 2 months or whatever. And the dentist, they're like, where is this guy? Is he ever going to come back? And he's like, well, they had an actual dentist look at it, and he's like, yeah, he's going to be back. He has like an impounded molar. It's got to be causing him extreme pain. He'll be back soon. And so they waited for him. Well, in the meantime, they had a beef with LAPD. Like, this is my jurisdiction. We'll get him. So they couldn't come to an agreement. So they set up an alarm system in there, and they left. They said, and I shit you not, they said the very next fucking day, the dentist called the homicide detectives, Gil Carrero, and was like, where were you guys? He's like, I was hitting the alarm and nothing happened. So the alarm that they installed malfunctioned. And Richard Ramirez was there the very next day, right after they all left. And
you think he knew? You think he was watching the place and knew it was up?
No, because he went in there and had work done on his teeth.
Right, but he knew they were gone.
I don't. If he knew they were even there, I wouldn't even gone. Would you? That'd just be stupid.
I don't know.
If I knew the place was bugged with cops, I wouldn't have gone.
Well, he didn't know the place was bugged, but it was being watched. And when it was no longer watches, when he showed up.
Yeah, but he didn't know there was an alarm system.
I don't believe in coincidence. You know what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean, I believe in shit like that. Like, just like they fucking, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's just a fucking near miss. And, they had a stolen vehicle. I think what happened was somehow he failed to, I don't remember. He failed the signal or some shit, and then a bike cop pulled him over. A motorcycle cop pulled him over and pulled him out of the car and like jacked him up against the hood of the car. For what reason, I don't remember.
He probably had a very good reason.
And so he's like, wait here. Went back to his bike, and he said Richard Ramirez overheard the crime that he had just committed come over the radio, saying they were looking for him, and gave his description. And within that split second, he drew a pentagram on the window of the car and said, like, Hail Satan, and then he took off on foot. And they just missed him. So they impounded that car, and it sat there, and they said they couldn't they couldn't do anything with it. Like, something got fucked up, and they were fucking the detectives around. And it sat there in the 115-degree sun all summer long, and when they finally got to get prints, they were all cooked off, and they couldn't find anything in the car.
Oh.
So another fuck up and near miss.
So now they have his description, they have his prints, they know who he is, they're looking for him. So he takes off to New Mexico.
Well, tell them why they found tell them what we were talking about earlier of like sort of how they got his name and they had his print, but they had no name, and they had.
Well, no, this says they got his name from his arrest record.
Right, but they did that. They were saying when up in the San Francisco detective, they knew that he was frequenting a Greyhound bus station. He had a locker there, and he was using that to travel between L.A., San Francisco, and to go visit his family back in Texas or New Mexico where they were living at the time. And so they visited it. They found a guy there, and the guy says, yeah, there's a guy here named Rick. And they're like, Rick? Richard? Kind of dick. Yeah. And he gave a description of him. So I guess what the detective said was they basically took this guy, put him in the back of the squad car, and he just proceeded to punch him in the face until he gave up a name. When he gave up the name Richard Ramirez. And then that's when they were like, okay, they pulled up his name. That's him. And then the San Francisco detectives were like, let's post this picture all over the papers. But the LA detectives were like, no. Let him fuck up again, and then we'll arrest him in the act. And he's like, we can't do that. He's like, you know what kind of shitstorm will be brought upon us if we don't nab this guy, knowing we have an active homicide warrant for him?
Yeah.
And he says, if he kills somebody, he's like, we got blood on our hands. He's like, no fucking way. He's like, and they went and had a big press conference and put his fucking picture out there, you know.
But it was Arizona. It was August of '85. He went on a journey to Arizona by bus.
Yeah.
So that ties in with the bus station.
Yep. And I believe also they said that Richard had given or sold that gun to that guy who gave his name up. And they're like, well, where's the gun? We want the gun. And he says, well, I sold it to some guy in what did I say? Tijuana?
Yeah.
And they said in Guacamole. So they sent detectives up there and they said they actually retrieved the gun. And then when they showed a picture of it, they showed a revolver, which I don't think it was a revolver because...
Why would you leave shell casings?
Yeah, a revolver, if anybody knows, does not eject the shell casings when you fire them.
Despite the way the media tries to...
Yeah, you have to manually open the cylinder and dump the shell casings out. So, which if he had a revolver, he would have had to open that up, dump the shells out, and reload it, which I highly doubt he was doing there.
So he's on this bus trip now. And these elderly women see him.
Yep.
And they start, in Spanish, they start calling him the killer. So he realized, oh, they're talking about me, and he sees his picture on the TV. He tries to escape. He tries to carjack a woman. That fails. So some bystanders start chasing him down. He tries to carjack 2 more people.
Yeah. Did you hear the one he tries to carjack this 62-year-old man, and he had some kind of like hot sports car, right? And he's like, nobody's taking my bait. He actually said that he jumped in there. He noticed that the car door was open and the keys were in the ignition. So he hopped in. He started the car, but the owner of the car was underneath the car working on it. So he says he rolls out and he's like, motherfucker, you ain't taking my car. It's like his prized possession, right? His muscle car he's been working on.
His midlife crisis.
Yeah. So Richard's like, I got a gun. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And he opens up the door and he rips him out of the car, slams him down on the ground, and then I guess he takes off on foot. And
so they chase him down. They smack a little Dickie up. And
did they hit him in the head with an iron pole?
Yeah, something like that.
They split his wig open.
Yeah.
I know that.
And then they called the cops, and the cops arrested him.
Yep. I think those cops didn't come. He would have been dead.
So, when we did Zodiac, or not Zodiac, but we did Zodiac and Toy Box.
Yeah.
Both of those guys, their story began when it was ending. You know, they had, like, Toy Box Killer, they had no idea what was even going on.
Right.
Until the day that the lady escaped, and that was his downfall. Now, this guy, they had been looking for.
Yeah.
They were actively searching for this guy from after his first murder on.
Yeah.
So, just a difference on how things were done. So, he goes to trial, and the trial is like a media circus.
Oh, yeah. He's like some hot shot. He's wearing fucking dark aviator glasses.
Well, hold on. Before he goes to trial, when he gets put in jail, you mentioned his bad teeth. Did you know this?
No. He must have got him fixed.
The jail fixed them.
Yeah, because I'm like thinking, I was looking at pictures of him, like, wait, his teeth don't look that bad.
I know it's on here because I was looking at this and I'm like, that's just like our prison system.
Yeah.
Before he even goes to trial, because if you look at it, his trial, he's got nice teeth. He's flashing those nice teeth the whole time. And they didn't really fix them.
I thought my understanding of how we do it is if you have to get your tooth fixed
here
and it's hurting you, you either deal with the pain or it gets yanked out.
Yeah, well, that's how a jail that I previously worked at did things. So Ramirez's dental hygiene was an issue starting at a young age. The infamous killer would start his day drinking Coca-Cola, eating sugar-covered cereals in El Paso, Texas. After his arrest, he was seen by the dentist over the next few months repairing his teeth and gave his evil smile that he's known for in the courtroom.
I think he smiled before he got his...
And he was drawing pentagrams on his hand in the courtroom. And
I think his fucking... Well, if you want to call it a smile, I think he looked more sinister before he got his grill fixed.
So while he was on trial...
Got these nice gold teeth for you here. Oh!
Did you know that one of the jurors disappeared? Was found murdered?
No, I didn't.
So on August 15th, 1988. So now I'm in the Navy now while this trial's going on. Phyllis Singletary, one of the jurors in the Ramirez case, didn't show up at court. A few hours later, Singletary was found shot dead in her apartment. The grand jury was terrified, believing that Ramirez somehow
orchestrated it,
masterminded the murder. However, it was her boyfriend who shot and killed her.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, I know.
I know they said they fired one juror because he couldn't stay awake he was always falling asleep. How could you fall asleep through that fucking thing?
Really?
Yeah, I guess.
Really? When we were in Saipan, you fell asleep while everybody was hammering. You had a hammer in your hand halfway.
Well, you eat enough fucking coconut chicken and Thai food, and it's 200 degrees outside. And you're not allowed to drink water.
Did you know that he What do you want, more water?
Much water you guys need?
How much water are you going to drink? Well, as much as I need, because I don't want to pass out and die.
Yeah, I don't think you want a body on your hands, do you?
So, Ramirez had actually planned to bring a gun to the courtroom and shoot his prosecutor. Did you know that?
I found that out on the way over here. I was shocked. That was the first I ever heard of that.
The chilling process.
You think he would have done it?
I don't know. How was he going to get it? He was in jail.
You never know, man.
He was caught because some very vigilant correction officers overheard his plan and stopped it.
Nah, we're just a bunch of dumb oafs.
Yeah. So, did you know he tried to escape from prison?
No.
So, Ramirez planned to escape from prison twice. A few months after Ramirez's death, the New York Post published an article stating that the infamous killer had two plots to escape from prison to continue his murder spree. Both plans failed. In 1993, while being brought back to prison, Ramirez tried to smuggle a key in his rectum. So he prison pocketed a key to the handcuffs that he was going to try to unlock the handcuffs with.
I think
he booped it.
I think he was the biggest pussy in the world, and if he was actually confronted one-on-one with an actual fucking male, I don't think he would have done shit.
His second plan had never been executed since correctional officers became aware. Again, vigilant correction officers found the boot handcuff key in his prison pocket and figured out what his plan was. And he was, they were reading one of the letters he got from a groupie.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We were just talking about this at dinner.
Yeah.
Was the fucking fame that this guy got from these women. And they weren't ugly. They were pretty damn good looking girls.
While he was waiting for trial, someone who was a reporter, actually, that's who he married.
What? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A freelance magazine editor, Doreen Lilloy.
And they said that she didn't
75 letters while he was incarcerated.
Didn't believe that all that shit against him. That's untrue.
In 88, he proposed to her.
Yeah, what really pissed me off was they said that during his wedding, he sat there and he was really nervous. And it's like,
they got married in 96, so it was after the trial.
I was like, that person of all getting nervous? It just sickens me that they allow that shit to fucking happen.
She stated, for many years after Ramirez's death, she stated she would commit suicide if Ramirez was executed.
Good. I don't understand why the fuck you would ever allow that. This guy denied so much shit from people and future generations. And
he eventually died, but they said by some estimates he would have been in his early 70s before his execution was carried out due to the lengthy California appeals process. But I don't believe that because I don't think California's putting anybody to death anymore.
When's the last time they put somebody to death?
I don't know.
20 years ago?
Probably. So he was convicted on 43 counts.
Yeah, there's got to be more than that.
13 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, 11 counts of sexual assault, and 14 counts of burglary.
Yeah.
And he got the death penalty.
And died of cancer in jail.
Good for him. He was 53 when he died in 2013.
I do want to say something towards the beginning. They said that this lady was in a store and she was looking at this black hat and she thought it was weird that it said AC/DC on it. She kind of like picked it up and put it back on there. And she said she looked over to her right and there was this guy wearing all black, members only jacket, greasy hair, fucked up grill. He smelled like death. And he was just giving her like a sinister smile, just looking at her like a creepy clown.
It was Burnt Row Homes.
There was Burnt Row Homes. And she said on the way home, she was traveling down the highway, and she said out of nowhere, this small brown tan car came flying up behind her, got next to her, and then almost like was trying to run her off the road, and he was wearing that AC/DC hat. And he's just fucking grinning at her like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. She said she was never been so creeped out before in her life. And I think it was that same night was when he went to go kill Maria Hernandez and Dale Okazaki. And they found that hat in the garage. They found the AC/DC hat.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So it's thought that he had additional victims. It's thought that he has raped and stolen before June of '84.
Well, they said ever since he was a kid, he was known as a thief.
But they said his first murder was actually this Mei Lung, a 9-year-old who he beat, raped, and stabbed to death, and hung her from a pipe in April 1984. And they tied him to that murder via DNA years later.
Yeah. Also, I guess when the detectives were, after he was sentenced and shit, they were moving him around. I think it was when they were transferring him to San Quentin. He's in the back of the bus. They're all by himself, and they said he cynically said, "Hey, you guys remember such and such?" and gave out a name. He goes, "Yeah, I did that one too.
I did that too.
Yeah.
That was me.
I done did that." What a sick fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sick, twisted individual. I research this stuff, and I feel sick reading this stuff.
yeah, when I was coming over here, I was so sick and tired of hearing like another rape, another murder, another shooting. It's like, God, I'm like, it's just it grinds in your fucking head just hearing it.
Catch the MF already.
Right. I remember the detective Dale Coca-Cola, whatever the fuck his name was, Carnitas. He was saying to the other detective, his partner, he's like, is it bad to want to have somebody else die? He's like, but I need this guy to fuck up. He's like, I need him to commit another crime so he fucks up. I need more information to catch him. And he's like, if he doesn't, we'll never fucking catch him. He's like, so in order for that, somebody's got to fucking pay. And he said he felt fucked up about that. And some of these crimes hit real close to his house, and his family ended up picking up, leaving. And I heard the interview with his wife. She was saying, he was under incredible stress. She's like, to be married to a police officer, you have to have a lot of patience.
I remember when you were talking about the sheriff's deputy. That was one where there were 2 murders. They were houses apart. And she heard someone calling out for help, calling her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she went down to her neighbors and found her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yep, I remember that one. Because I was like, sheriff's deputy, I don't remember what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that guy,
on the one that I watched, they interviewed her, the sheriff's deputy.
Yeah, when he looked out the window and saw that there's 2 footprints in there, it said he got a big box and he covered the footprints so nobody would disturb it. Yeah. And the homicide detective was like, thank God he was a good officer because he had some insight. Like, I don't want to disturb that. He made a good decision to freaking preserve the evidence.
I find sometimes when we're doing these, we're like, the cop screwed up this and the cop screwed up that, but in their time,
hindsight's always 20/20.
yeah,
It's not like they meant to do it.
no, it's like you don't know what you're looking at sometimes.
Yeah. Basically, all they had at first to go on was, we got a killer, and where's a fucking...
But just like you said, he was stopped. Well, they did the same thing with Zodiac.
Yeah. He was stopped, I think, twice.
Yeah. And like, nobody knew. Like, there was just not enough information at the time to grab the guy up.
Yeah.
But this guy was a sick fuck for sure. Rotten hell.
Yeah, which I'm sure that's exactly where he wants to be. So good on him.
Good for him. I'm not going to shed a tear for him. I do shed a tear for all these victims, though, especially the ones who survived and had to live with it. Like that 16-year-old girl, the rest of her life. 16 at that time, she was a year younger, 2 younger than me.
Yeah.
I wonder where she is now. I wonder what she's doing, how she's coped with having that trauma in her life.
And that 6-year-old, she said that the way she kept trying to get out of him molesting her, raping her, she's like, I really have to use the bathroom. And she said that he would be like, okay, and he would pick her up, and then he would just set her on top of the sink and just stand there and watch her. And she says, when I looked at him, he had this look in his eyes like, I'm really sorry that I'm doing this, but I'm not because I'm going to keep doing it. And then he would pick her up, take her back to the bed.
I can't just think about that.
Yeah, no, I think of like, my family and people in my family that are of that age or were of that age. And, I would destroy him. How the fuck I don't know how somebody didn't murder this son of a bitch in the heat of the moment before he ever went to trial.
So, well, that about wraps this one up.
Yeah. Fuck the Night Stalker.
Yeah. Rotten hell, Night Stalker.
Fucking wrap a big gold chain around his fucking neck.
I don't wear gold.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening to our podcast from the Man Cave. And
question or comments, send them to takeontheworld411@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Well, if you're watching the video, you're already checking us out on YouTube.
All right. That's all we got. Till next time.
Take on the world.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that.
Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
Our podcasts exist because of listeners like you. To find other great shows, head over to the Den.show. Thanks for listening.